Zeus, the king of the gods, had many relationships, but his most famous and enduring one was with Hera, the queen of the gods. Hera was not only Zeus's wife but also his sister. She was the goddess of marriage, women, childbirth, and family. She was known for her beauty and powerful, vengeful nature. Zeus was deeply attracted to Hera and wanted her to be his wife. However, Hera was initially hesitant and refused his advances. Zeus, known for his cunning, transformed himself into a cuckoo bird and pretended to be in distress. When Hera saw the bird, she felt sorry for it and took it into her care. At that moment, Zeus transformed back into his true form and revealed himself to Hera. Impressed by his cleverness, Hera agreed to marry him. Their marriage was celebrated with great splendor, and they became the ruling couple of Mount Olympus, where the gods lived. However, despite their grand union, their marriage was far from perfect. Zeus was notorious for his numerous affairs with other goddesses and mortal women, which caused great jealousy and anger in Hera. Hera's jealousy often led her to seek revenge on Zeus's lovers and their children. She would use her power to make their lives difficult, sometimes even cruelly punishing them. Despite the tension in their relationship, Zeus and Hera were bound together by their roles as the king and queen of the gods. They had several children together, including Ares, the god of war; Hebe, the goddess of youth; Hephaestus, the god of fire and blacksmithing; Eileithyia, the goddess of childbirth. Hera's role as the goddess of marriage made her the protector of married women, and she was widely worshipped for this in ancient Greece. Though she was often portrayed as stern and vengeful, Hera also had a caring side, especially when it came to the sanctity of marriage and the well-being of women. Metis, a significant figure among the Titans, was the daughter of Oceanus and Tethys, making her an Oceanid. Metis was famous for her intelligence and good advice, and Zeus admired her greatly. He decided that he wanted Metis to be his wife. However, there was a prophecy that worried Zeus. It was said that if Metis had children, her first child would be a daughter, but her second child would be a son who would be even more powerful than Zeus and might overthrow him. Zeus didn't want to lose his throne. He came up with a plan on the advice of Gaia and Uranus, who warned him about the second child, that the child would become more powerful than Zeus and rule over both gods and humans. To prevent this from happening, Zeus planned to swallow Metis while she was still pregnant with Athena. This way, Metis, who was wise, would stay inside him and give him guidance in both good and bad times, ensuring that no other god would ever take his throne. When Metis was about to give birth to their daughter Athena, Zeus convinced her to play a game where she would transform into different animals and objects. While Metis was in the form of a tiny fly, Zeus quickly swallowed her. Metis crafted armor, a spear, and a shield for her daughter, whom she raised in Zeus' mind. Athena eventually used her spear and shield, banging them together to give her father a headache. Zeus started to have terrible headaches. The pain was so intense, and he met Hephaestus, the god of fire and metalworking, on the river Trito's banks and asked him to help. Hephaestus took an axe and split open Zeus's head, and to everyone's amazement, a fully grown and armored goddess sprang out. This was Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. Even though Zeus tried to prevent the prophecy, Athena was born, but no son followed. Instead of being a threat, Athena became one of Zeus's most trusted and respected children. She was known for her wisdom, courage, and fairness, often helping Zeus in his decisions. One of his important wives was Themis, the goddess of justice, law, and order. Themis was highly respected among the gods for her wisdom and fairness. She was often depicted holding a pair of scales, symbolizing the balance of justice. When Zeus married Themis, their union was seen as a powerful alliance between might and right. Together, they maintained order in both the mortal world and the divine realm. Themis advised Zeus on how to rule fairly and wisely, ensuring that justice was upheld in the heavens and on earth. Zeus and Themis had several children, known as the Ori or Hours and the Moirai or Fates. The Ori were goddesses who represented the natural order in the seasons, making sure that time and nature followed their proper cycles. The Moirai, on the other hand, were three powerful sisters who controlled the destiny of every living being. They decided the length of a person's life and the events that would unfold. Eurynomé was an ancient goddess who was associated with water and the sea. She was one of the Titanesses, daughters of Oceanus and Tethys, who were gods of the ocean. Eurynomé was known for her grace and beauty, and she played a significant role in the early days of the world. Zeus, the king of the gods, was drawn to Eurynomé's charm and wisdom. Together, they had a relationship that resulted in the birth of 3 daughters, known as the Charites or the Graces. Their names were Aglaea, Euphrosyne, and Talia. These 3 goddesses were symbols of beauty, joy, and creativity, and they were often depicted dancing and spreading happiness. They represented the positive qualities that made life enjoyable. They were often associated with the arts, especially music, dance, and poetry. The Graces were also seen as companions of the love goddess Aphrodite, and they were known to bring charm and goodwill wherever they went. Eurynomé herself was considered a kind and nurturing figure, and through her daughters, she brought beauty and delight to the world. Demeter was the goddess of agriculture, fertility, and the harvest. She was responsible for making sure the crops grew and that people had food to eat. Demeter was one of Zeus's sisters, and like many others, she had a relationship with him. Zeus and Demeter's union resulted in the birth of a daughter named Persephone, who was incredibly beautiful and loved by everyone, especially her mother. Demeter was very protective of Persephone and tried to keep her away from the other gods and goddesses, especially those who might want to marry her. However, Hades, the god of the underworld and Zeus's brother, saw Persephone and fell in love with her. Without telling Demeter, Zeus agreed to let Hades take Persephone as his wife. One day, while Persephone was picking flowers in a meadow, the ground suddenly opened up, and Hades emerged in his chariot. He grabbed Persephone and took her down to the underworld. When Demeter discovered that her daughter was missing, she was devastated. She searched the earth for Persephone, neglecting her duties as the goddess of the harvest. As a result, the crops stopped growing, and a great famine spread across the land. Finally, after many months of searching, Demeter learned that Zeus had allowed Hades to take Persephone. Furious and heartbroken, Demeter demanded that Zeus bring her daughter back. Zeus, realizing that the famine would destroy humanity if it continued, agreed to help. Zeus sent Hermes, the messenger god, to the underworld to bring Persephone back to her mother. However, before Persephone could leave, Hades tricked her into eating a few seeds from a pomegranate, the fruit of the underworld. Because she had eaten the food of the dead, Persephone was bound to return to the underworld for a portion of each year. Zeus eventually brokered a deal. Persephone would spend part of the year with Hades in the underworld and the rest of the year with her mother, Demeter. When Persephone was with Demeter, the earth would be fertile and green, marking the spring and summer seasons. But when Persephone returned to the underworld, Demeter would mourn, causing the earth to become barren, leading to autumn and winter. Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory. Mnemosyne was one of the Titans, the powerful beings who ruled before the Olympian gods. She was known for her incredible memory and was the keeper of all knowledge and stories. Zeus was drawn to Mnemosyne's wisdom and her ability to remember everything that had ever happened. One day, he decided to spend time with her, and for 9 nights in a row, Zeus visited Mnemosyne. As a result of their union, Mnemosyne gave birth to 9 daughters, who would become known as the Muses. The Muses were goddesses of the arts and sciences, and each one was responsible for inspiring a different branch of knowledge and creativity. They were Calliope, muse of epic poetry; Clio, muse of history; Erato, muse of love poetry; Euterpe, muse of music; Melpomene, muse of tragedy; Polyhymnia, muse of sacred songs; Terpsichore, muse of dance; Thalia, muse of comedy; Urania, muse of astronomy. The Muses were often called upon by artists, poets, and scholars for inspiration. They were believed to live on Mount Helicon, a beautiful place filled with springs and lush greenery, where they would dance and sing, bringing joy and creativity to the world. Mnemosyne's connection to memory was important because the arts and sciences rely on the ability to remember and build upon past knowledge. By giving birth to the Muses, Mnemosyne ensured that human culture, creativity, and learning would flourish. Zeus's relationship with Mnemosyne was unique because it wasn't just about power or love, it was about the preservation of knowledge and the inspiration for human creativity. Leto, a kind and gentle Titaness known for her beauty and grace. Leto was the daughter of the Titans Zeus and Phoebe, and she was admired for her calm nature and deep wisdom. Zeus and Leto became close, and Leto soon became pregnant with twins. However, this created a problem because Zeus was already married to Hera, the powerful queen of the gods. Hera was extremely jealous and furious when she found out about Leto's pregnancy. Determined to make life difficult for Leto, Hera cursed her so that she wouldn't be able to give birth on any solid land. Leto wandered the earth, desperately searching for a place to give birth, but everywhere she went, she was turned away because of Hera's curse. No land wanted to face Hera's wrath by allowing Leto to stay. Leto was exhausted and in great pain, but she didn't give up. Finally, she found refuge on the floating island of Delos. Because Delos was not considered solid land, it wasn't affected by Hera's curse. The island welcomed Leto, and there, she gave birth to her twins, Artemis and Apollo. Artemis was born first, and even as a newborn, she was strong and helped her mother during the birth of her brother, Apollo. Artemis would grow up to become the goddess of the hunt, wild animals, and the moon, known for her independence and strength. Apollo, born next, would become the god of music, prophecy, healing, and the sun, celebrated for his beauty and intelligence. Despite Hera's attempts to stop them, Artemis and Apollo grew up to be powerful and respected gods in their own right, each embodying different aspects of their mother's strength and wisdom. Leto's story is one of resilience and perseverance. Despite the challenges she faced, she brought two of the most important gods in Greek mythology into the world. Leto herself was honored as a protector of mothers and children, and the island of Delos became a sacred place, celebrated for its role in the birth of the twin gods.